Which one is this? I missed the first part.
Oh, you already seen
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan.
Oh, the giant naked baby people.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just most of the stuff I'd seen, it hadn't really ever appealed to me, but I might have to delve into it.
I was in the first season, and then the second season started so slow as shit, and I was like, I jumped out, and then I had to I just jumped back in again this year, and I think I forced myself past the first 5 episodes of the second season, and I haven't been able to stop ever since. It's paced so beautifully well, and I love the whole aesthetic where that whole island is stuck in time 100 years, and everybody else went above them. It's like they never seen an airship or a blimp before, and they brought it over, then they blew their minds. They didn't even know what a ship was.
Like a water ship?
They were, yeah, Hanji was looking at a gun. She's like, she'd never seen a gun before. It's like, so this is how you load bullets in here. She's like, oh, that makes sense. It's like, they've never seen any of that shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, but they had those flying blade things, right?
Yeah. But it's used from a gas that's only, only able to produce from that island. It's like, that ore for it, only can be mined on that island. So that's why the rest of the world haven't seen those type of, for their Mobius gear.
The canister things?
Yeah. So they don't have access to that, but they've never they just at the part I'm at now, they just build railroads, they just build a port to get boats there. They just have other parts of the world that's coming to visit them now. The show's so fucking good, man. Oh man, and that main character, man, he's going down a dark path, man. I feel bad for Eren Yeager. He's turning against everybody. He's like, what was it? It's like friends are temporary, freedom is eternal. That's all he cares about. Because they just declared now at the point the whole world just declared the whole world has declared war on that island now. That's where I'm at right now. They're about to go fight them.
That can't be good.
I mean, they have the secrets of the Titans, man. Their goal is to kill everybody on that island now. It's good shit, man.
Finally, damn, that was literally 2 minutes and 16 seconds.
Wow.
I was watching it. You just got it too?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, I mean, Twitch is on a delay, so.
Right.
You're on a delay.
I mean, whenever I watch somebody that I've got a notification for, they always have some kind of preamble. They'll have some splash screen up for a while before they actually get going, which is kind of what we do. We just talk shit back and forth. Oh man. Oh, is it Friday yet? Fuck.
I wish.
The fuck? 5 and 6 hours. I ain't gonna be awake in 6 hours. Alright, whatever.
Set an alarm. Wake your ass up.
At 2 in the morning? Hell no, I gotta go work tomorrow.
Same.
I like watching videos and shit, but I'm not losing sleep on that. Get out of here.
Nope. Did you do the time zone conversion and come up with that?
Negative. Good old Google does it for me automatically when I click on there, because it gives me some jargons, something's happening at some point in time. I just click on it. It's like, oh, this is the time. I'm like, all right, cool. That's all I need. I don't need the math and other shit with it. So
Add to calendar.
I'll watch a video on demand later. I'm like, whatever. So, whatever. I don't give fucks.
It's not a live performance.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I still haven't watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier yet, so I'm like, I'm waiting until the second episode.
It's
I heard the first one was
it's okay.
Safe. Very safe.
I mean, it's like nothing's really happening yet. So,
but it was like that with WandaVision.
WandaVision was super slow.
It didn't get good till about halfway through, 4.
Yeah.
Or when it's when they start throwing all the mysteries in there, but it ended on a bang, man. You know how I feel about Doctor Strange, man. You know how I feel.
Yeah.
I
love Doctor Strange.
They had that connection in there now with Doctor Strange. I was like, hell yeah.
He confirmed for a second season. Potentially.
No, the next Strange movie is going to be him and Wanda have shit going on.
Him, Wanda, and Spider-Man, because the new Spider-Man and Strange is in that one.
Yeah.
So something with the multiverse is going on where all 3 of them are going to get pulled into different worlds. That's why Spider-Man's fighting all these weird villains from other Spider-Man movies.
From other Spider-Man movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to get the return of Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
They haven't confirmed it yet, so.
Oh, they'll keep that shit a secret.
I think the only one that kept
Avenge me.
I think the only one that Kevin Feige kept not secret was Chris Evans. He's like, yeah, he's not coming back. It's
yeah.
He killed that immediately. He's like, he's not coming back because that rumor was going around, and he's like, let me squash that. I'm not even gonna let people get that in their idea.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sure he doesn't want to do this role forever. So I'm like, he's like, he did it for 10 years. He ain't coming back.
A decade's worth.
I'm still waiting for Richard to watch all the movies. He has Disney Plus. He has a way to see them all now without having to invest any money whatsoever. He just needs time.
I'm rewatching the shit.
Richard, all you got to do is invest your time, sir. You don't even have to pay any money.
Yeah. I'm rewatching. I just finished Winter Soldier. Next up is the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Oh man, I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Those are so fucking good.
I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the second one.
And it's gonna get weird when you watch the third one. And you're like, why is Thor in here? And you're like, you're not gonna understand anything.
No clue. I'm behind. Oh, Cesar's in the chat.
Oh, I mean, I thought I would answer.
Cesar, quick overview. What were we trying to do before in the pre-show when I tried to get Brandon here early too?
Play something on OPS.
More plays the Halos.
I'm trying to get some Kahoot going or what?
I'm trying to use this Series S thing that I invested money in over here. So
it's not just an emulation box yet?
Huh?
It's not just an emulation box yet?
Nope, I played that one night of Halo with you guys on it, so.
Let me see.
Since my Series X was needed the 11,000 gig update.
No bueno.
Oh no, unless it's on Switch, I may not be able to play much for a minute.
Keep that unpackoed.
Yeah, Switch will be with me. Dock will probably be put up for a second.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
You can tag into a Switch game, if we play some of that. Want to do one of those online ones where we can all tag in and out. And even if you just want to be on audio, like a Skype audio call, it'll work.
Super Donkey Kong 2. Super Donkey Kong 2.
I can grab that. Yeah, I can grab that source.
Double Dragon?
Oh, we can always do Double Dragon.
No. I just wanted to see Richard's face.
Nope. It's bad enough for Richard just tagging me on Double Dragon news that I haven't seen yet. It's like, no. I'm like, I haven't even seen it yet. I'm like, I already own all these, so I don't have to buy them.
There's sales, and I just tag Cesar with no. That's all I'll say. And there's other games in there. There's Super Dodgeball. There's games I'll play, and I see Double Dragon in there. I'm just like, no.
Oh. They made that thing for you because they took the Double Dragon games out, and they just made the River City Ransom games, so you can buy those separately.
And you only save $1 if you get all those fucking games versus the individual. I was like, wait a minute.
That should show your dedication, how much you hate Double Dragon. It's like, no, I'd rather pay more to get these separately than to buy them together and get the other games at a reasonable price.
It's not drastic separate.
Hey man, I love me some Double Dragon. I have every version of Double Dragon. So even the bullshit 361, which was weird with that. I forgot who made it.
It's like Bomberman Act Zero.
I don't know, man. It's just the one where it doesn't prompt you to go places, so you can just be sitting there I don't know what to do to move forward, and you just move forward and it goes. It doesn't give you the arrow like the other games.
Was it one of the arcade titles or was it a retail SKU?
It was when they decided. That's before because the original Double Dragon was
garbage.
I think was Data East that brought it out over here. I don't remember who owned it in Japan, but that company went bankrupt, and then Trade West, and the Arc Systems went out and bought them within the last 6 years and bought that whole catalog, and then they acquired Double Dragon that way. Okay. That's why you've been getting all these re-releases, because Arc Systems owns it now.
And they have it with Kunio-kun.
Right. They bought it from all that company. And so that's why they're re-releasing the hell out of them. That's why they got the original team back together and did Double Dragon 4. Was it 4 years ago on PS4?
That was not well received, if I remember right.
It was not, no. But most Double Dragon games are not, so... Unless you watch The Wizard and he's amazed that you score 50,000 points on it. So.
The first Nintendo Direct. All right, y'all ready to record?
Sure.
8:10. We usually ramble on for longer. That could have been our 10-minute preamble too. Oh, Cesar, do you remember when I was thinking about some of these old episodes? Do you remember when I used to write this shit down?
Mm-hmm.
Brant, I scripted the preamble. Everybody was there. I'd be writing down what we wanted to talk about, and I literally read it.
It was literally like it's literally like just watching a live action version of the Stan music video from Eminem. That's all it was. He was like writing that letter on the desk.
You made that comment before.
Yep.
Oh, it sucked, man. And then I had to do one where it was just like, all right, let's just wing it, and then it was that from there on out. Just the ad-libbed bullshit part, and it was more organic and genuine than the scripted thing that I tried to follow on. Because then I would try to put like proper inflection in the scripted one, and it was just off every time. So we're off the cuff, anyways.
Look, I don't remember much from the old days. I just remember Sea of Thieves, and
I played some Sea of Thieves.
And that's all. I think that's all that's instilled in my mind was Sea of Thieves. I can't think of anything else from the previous day.
So I miss having a game club game. I enjoyed having some bullshit that we all were gonna. Cool. Yeah, maybe we start that back up again, but we haven't had anybody be like play a game club game. So
yeah,
we haven't had anybody say that they loved that content or something. Except Brant, now he's on the show.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't know if I have time, man. I have so much bullshit to play.
I was about to say, yeah, time is the biggest factor.
I'm like, it's either...
That's what it was with Game Club. That's why we ran out,
It's either I'm playing what I want to play or I'm watching some anime that I don't want to watch that somehow I get pulled into. So that's usually my day, so... outside of work. So you're looking at my work desk, and then I'll turn right around, and that's my fun desk over there, so... And that's considered my day. So.
It's my fun desk. It's my fun station. All my fun things are here at this station.
They're all in this one located place.
Oh.
So, I have it in me not to play games during work hours, so it works. Yeah, so that's why I can do it all in the same room. Some people can't.
Like that either.
Yeah. It'll be there once a day is over with. It'll be fine.
I cannot pick up this work pen and write with it during fun pen time. I must pick up my fun pen.
So yeah, it's like me typing with a keyboard. It's like, oh, how does Xbox controller get in my hands? I'm like, might as well start playing.
I fumbled into this.
Oh,
Sea of Thieves! I see you over there on the TV. Let's go sailing.
Ooh.
All right, here we go. Let me give us.
It would be funny if I actually played Sea of Thieves during work hours with another employee. I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?
I must take your ship down.
I'm taking over your ship. Get the fuck off. Get the fuck off.
Did y'all get the NDI warning? So that's what we need to test with yours. We need to make you do the NDI recording.
I legit got like 85 different warnings. I got Richard is recording the call. Stop NDI. Like it's a hashtag I need to put in front of it. And then Richard's using a device that could record or broadcast this call, which I'm already seeing this happening on screen to the right of me. So.
You're being captured multiple ways. I was so scared that we had broken some part of this setup after you and I were screwing around with all that stuff. I was so fucking scared.
It's what I get. I should have played Lego Rock Band. I would have played safer.
Because it took so much to get at this point. Remember we had those crazy Echo episodes?
I don't remember. Is that in the beginning when we all had our own microphones?
I think it was the first one. No. When we first brought Bran on. Because it was just me and you, and that one source was fine. And then when
the original remote record.
When we added a third remote record, it was that echo was like ear-splitting bad. But it didn't show. Remember, it was only live. It didn't bleed over into the actual podcast we posted. Speaking of which, we renewed for SoundCloud for another year, so thank you to sponsor. Not really a sponsor, SoundCloud. We're back together. At last, the partnership continues.
Until they take us out.
Possibly. The Germans. All right, y'all ready?
I was thinking Franz Ferdinand, but we can go with the German.
Take me out.
Yep.
Lots of music references this time.
I'm usually full of music references, so usually.
We'll try to keep that going. Maybe that's a theme.
I just can't stop thinking of you as, 8 Mile Richard.
Oh yeah, and we have Stan.
Yeah, at halftime I wouldn't even have like a notebook or anything. I'd be writing on the back of an envelope or some shit.
There's times he would crumple it back up. He's like, ugh. It's like,
it would suck. I'd be reading it, and everybody's standing around looking at me like,
you were like the music video Stan. You were crumpling shit up. I'm like, oh, I'll just let her
games. Know. My games are heavy. Can't play with this controller because my palms are sweaty. Mom's spaghetti. This sucks.
Brant's keeping it going. Brant's playing your foolish game. He'll be player 2 to your Double Dragon soon enough.
No, it'll be us all playing the new Turtles game.
Yes.
It'll be the new Turtles game, and me and Cesar will tag team, have you in between
No!
volleyballing you.
So that's where I'll have the
Hey,
Donatello staff just whipping everybody off the.
I still have a PS3 here at the moment that has a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game that may disappear at some point. So,
Ooh.
Don't put it online. They'll take it from you.
I got to change the CMOS battery at some point. So,
They're gonna come to your house. Cerny's gonna come to your house. You don't need to play these games. You don't want to play these.
no, it's starting to be cool with it. I think it's Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan doesn't.
Or Ryan.
Yeah.
It's right. Yeah, Ryan.
It's not news, but did y'all see that Cerny only plays offline games? Like, he won't play games. He won't go after trophies that are online trophies. I was like, what?
I see. Well, you can follow him on PS4.
Yeah.
Like, and then you see his game list. It only does online games. So, I mean, offline.
Right,
excuse
right.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Oh, God, we're still recording. It's 3.5 minutes in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 152 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game, meandering, eventually getting around to video game discussing podcast. Tonight we have the results of your Square Enix showcase. More Switch Pro rumors have been updated, a little bit more credible sources. The smoke is becoming more and more apparent. Eventually there's going to be fire. Xbox Live has been rebranded to what, you may ask? Tony Hacks opens up PS1 soft mod scene. That is not a typo. Pikmin 4
Well
update is a go.
Well done. Also on that one.
Astro City Mini is coming to North America. Now, how to get a free Stadia hardware again, ... And PS3, PSP, and PS Vita stores rumored to be closed soon. I'm, of course, Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Brant McKee.
Yes, sir.
And Cesar Concepcion himself.
Well, Otsu Karasama Desu.
We had to have a translation for your closeout last week, so give us a translation of your opening this week.
It's basically saying it's like, let's have a good work day, basically.
That's past, sir. This is not work day. This is fun. we need fun for this.
Nope.
Can you say
I said what I said.
Let's have a successful, fun day, fun evening.
I said what I said.
I said what I
Can't
said.
take it back.
Yes, let's have a successful work day, since this is paying the bills. we just once again paid to create this content. No one has paid us anything yet to create this content.
Yes, this is work. We just make it look easy.
We can go with that as well.
I don't know if it looks easy. We want to make it look fun. Oh, it's not fun sometimes either. Maybe easy is the right answer.
Be easy.
Easy is setting up NDI sources.
I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at my Google Drive here. Somehow I got in here. And I was like, I had to go through there. I'm like, I got 3 versions of Songs of Storms on here. I'm trying to figure out how that even happened.
In your Google Drive?
Yeah.
So one of them is probably the Smash Brothers. Actually, all 3 of them are probably Smash Brothers renditions. Remember, you gave us that Smash Brothers rip.
It's the Song of Storms. It's not even the good one.
It's not the Smash Brothers version?
No.
Because it was in our Google Drive for a while, but then that filled up our drive. I had to delete it. Are you really listening to the banger that is the Song of Storms?
No.
That's like
Listen to Ryu Stage.
It's like a techno version. So it is the Smash
It's
Brothers.
Street Fighter, bro.
It is Street Fighter. Yeah.
It is the Smash Brothers version.
That's the only 2 songs I have on my drive, so I don't know what happened to the other ones.
Where did everything else go?
I don't know. That's apparently when I looked at my Google Drive, these are the only 2 songs I will ever need, and just left them on there. Song of Storms and Stage Ryu. So
you whittled down the 900-track Smash Brothers soundtrack, and those are the ones that rose to the top.
These are the only ones I'll ever need in real life. I'm like, yep.
Is all that music on the cart when you pop it in? Is it built into that cartridge?
Should be. We're talking about the Smash Brothers?
Yeah.
Game? Yeah.
All that music that's in there.
Outside of whatever's been updated in DLC.
Yeah.
I wonder how compressed that is. Or it's a Nintendo first party the game. They could have splashed it on like a 32 gig card or something. History's mysteries. All right.
I don't know, man. Whatever that rip was, it'll be similar to whatever that was. I just gotta find it somewhere.
What are they up to now on Switch cartridge sizes? Is it 64 gig?
I think 64 gig is where we're at. I don't know if there's a 128 or I think 64 gigs. I think with the max they can have.
Yeah, but people aren't buying them. They're not. It's like 2K's doing the one game on the cart, download the other 2.
I mean, we're not even getting Ninja Gaiden on at all physical. So
Here? Because I thought I saw
Yeah.
something go up. Is it Play Asia?
Play Asia's got the Asian version, and then Japan has physical, but it's no English. So you got a very limited window to get that Asian version because they said once it's gone, it's gone. They're not doing too many copies.
Oh, great.
So I've already dropped my $50 and sent it to them. So I was like, whatever at this point.
And that's only Switch for the physical, or is PS4 physical also?
For both, I ended up getting both. But they said the Switch ones, all 3 games are in cart though. So.
PS4 is a download?
Nope, they're all on disc. We're just not getting one in America or Europe. They're not. More people are buying digital, so they're going away with physical on some of these games. So
blah. Way to preserve the legacy for generations to come.
Then we have people closing down stores here left and right.
Yeah. Good time.
I was like, I'm not buying digital anything. What do you mean?
It's a good time. All right, let's dive into this. Square Enix presents, and this had happened, the day we recorded last? I think we recorded last Thursday, so it was like that morning.
I don't even remember this happening, so let's just go with that. There's like one game on there I like.
Oh, it was the Life is Strange thing, basically, right? And the Forsaken, the Project Athia.
That was the only one, Forsaken, like the Future's Forsaken and 64 Forsaken.
Wasn't that getting a remaster at one point, though? Wasn't Forsaken coming back out?
I think it was only on Steam PC, I believe. Yes.
Who asked for this? Not Jim Ryan.
Hey, we're getting a freaking Shadow Man remaster. Yeah. I didn't ask for that.
That too.
So,
this news comes from Games Radar. The Square Enix presents Spring 2021, full of reveals and updates. Of course, what we mentioned, Project Athia is now called Forspoken. I misspoken about Forspoken. Life is Strange True Colors is coming this fall to, it seemed like, everything. Black Panther is coming to Marvel's Avengers. And
yeah, just scroll down on that. It'll actually give you the full list and basically how they presented in the show.
It is not loading for me, Brant. You may have to help. I'm looking at an ad, and that's it.
It is already on Steam. I just want to answer your question. It's called Forsaken Remastered.
Nice.
There we go.
It looks like an album cover of an Aerosmith CD from the early 90s.
Yep. Live correction. Thank you, Cesar. What else was in the news in Square Enix Presents?
Let's see. There was a new cinematic trailer for Outriders. Then they talked about basically the 25th anniversary of Tomb Raider, and
which they celebrated with.
They announced something that had already been kind of, I guess. It was one of the things that kind of came to one of the Xbox storefronts and they got pulled down, the Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor Trilogy, which is all of the newer reboot trilogy.
The last 2 generations.
With all their DLC.
And I know that they said something about there was like more that they were going to do, including like a Tomb Raider cookbook, and
that's out too.
You're losing me.
Yeah,
you're losing me.
That's out too.
Yeah, that was an odd section there.
Cesar, what's one of your favorite Tomb Raider recipes? Let's just go around and share.
Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'm just gonna do my games. I don't think I'll ever use a cookbook.
T-Rex meat.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was gonna do a cookbook, the one I would get would probably be the Skyrim one, or
because they actually have like the sweet rolls and all that stuff in there.
I think that would be the one I would get, yes. I can't think of any other one that would be on the top of my list.
Cooking Mama.
Yeah, sure. We can go with that one. Do I take pictures at the end and put on Instagram? So I have to create an Instagram account?
Yes. You can use ours. You can post ours.
You know it's bad. I'm old. I know I'm old as hell when the only social media I have is Twitter, so.
Could be MySpace.
And everybody else is like, you use Twitter?
Could be MySpace.
Like, don't judge me.
My
MySpace might be up there still.
That would age you.
Tom might be my friend still.
Can we stream to MySpace? Does MySpace have a game landing page?
Sure. I heard we can stream to Justin TV, so we can try that too.
Man, I used to watch a lot of bootleg soccer on Justin TV.
Oh my god.
I did too.
That was the only way you could get certain games, like on Sky TV and stuff. Somebody would have a camera pointing at that shit, or a computer open to it. Justin.tv, of course, turned into Twitch.tv, whichever one knows and loves. That Tomb Raider collection's $20 until April 2nd, I think I saw. So definitely get all those games. I'm trying to decide which platform I really want to plop down the digital copies for. I think we got a couple with games with gold, maybe. Or maybe it's just been a mix between PlayStation Plus and gold.
So PlayStation Plus, I know we got the Shadow of the Tomb Raider vanilla.
Regular, just like Vanilla Witcher.
Yep, vanilla Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And did we get Rise of the Tomb Raider at some point?
I thought so, but you and I bought it on both
all
platforms.
these have been free.
Yeah.
I think the only one that I didn't get was Rise of the Tomb Raider when I looked at my Xbox. That's the only one because I already have OG Tomb Raider, and yeah, I don't have the last two, so that might be the one I would get on. I think I have a digital copy and everything on PlayStation when I checked. I was like, I don't need this because I think when I went to look at it, it's like you own all these. I was like, all right, cool.
Well, they kept.
I just never went into it.
I've bought the digital license on Amazon to the Tomb Raider Definitive for Xbox like 3 times. It's $4 or something every time it goes up, and I'm like, oh shit, I'll just grab it, and then I've already bought it, so I may have some extra codes for that Tomb Raider.
You like me, every time I walk into a store, I see a copy of Shenmue or Metal Gear Solid, I just pick one up. I got 4 copies of Metal Gear Solid 1.
Have you seen that went up in value pretty good?
No, I just every time I walk in there, $20, I need to have this. I'm like, I have the Legacy Collection, I got like 4 of those sealed.
That one got hard to find for a while. I'm hunting, there's a PS2 disc called Document of Metal Gear Solid 2. It's like an add-on thing. And I'm hunting that currently.
For what, Snake Eater or for Substance?
Substance. It was an add-on that was like a behind-the-scenes. It was actually came out before Substance because it had like 4 VR missions before they came out with the full Substance version that had the VR missions on it.
And the skateboard ones?
Yep, and the skateboard track. The big shell skateboarding.
Yeah, with the Tony Hawk. They're like, Tony Hawk's popular, let's throw it in there.
Metal Gear skateboarding with Raiden. Oh,
everybody's favorite character.
Is that it from the Square Enix show?
Let's see. They had
a little
couple mobile games. Yeah, they had some mobile games in there. Just Cause Mobile, Hitman, Sniper, Assassins.
They spent a lot of time on that Just Cause thing, and I'm like, you didn't fucking show anything. It was just like cutscenes. Well, is it called Just Cause Swipe or something like that? I think that's what it took. Swipe Squad.
I don't know. My page.
Just Cause Mobile. I think it is what it was. Let me look back.
Look,
here.
it was a lot.
Just Cause Mobile.
Then you had Hitman Sniper Assassins, which was another mobile game.
Mm-hmm.
But these are huge for them. We don't play them, but these freaking mobile Square Enix titles are massive, apparently, especially the Go ones.
Then you have Space Invaders Augmented Reality, which they didn't really show anything. They just showed what would it maybe look like. I don't know.
They just showed
Yeah.
It was weird.
It was like when we got the Minecraft augmented reality. It's like you can maybe do this in real life, and it never happened.
They never did anything with it.
So,
does anybody want to walk around with their phone and have Space Invaders dropping down on them? I would try it.
Sure. Why not? I mean, I could have sworn they did a movie with Adam Sandler and it didn't do well when this happened.
The exact same thing.
It's the same concept. Outside of that, they had Toho Spell Bubble Side Story Pack 2 Sane Arc. Holy shit, look at that name. All right, man.
That's a name.
This is a story pack for the Toho Spell Bubbles. I almost said the whole name again. That's on the Switch, which is a game that plays like J-pop songs from like other Toho games, and it's like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Fan service.
It's like Bust a Move. It's actually very good.
Oh,
okay. You point the orbs and you match the colors, and then
I saw that clip in the presentation.
So based off the song, you can actually do additional. You'll get additional damage based off the beat. So everything's done in 1-2 beats, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 as you do your attacks. So it helps when you stay in rhythm with the. It's actually not that bad, believe it or not. Outside of that, the only thing that interests me at this whole show was Darius Cosmic Revelation, which I already have that pre-ordered. That's like another separate disc that's not from that collection that we had not too long ago. That one includes G Darius HD and Darius Burst, another Chronicle EXE Plus. They also said that the Switch version, they didn't announce it in this stream, but the Strictly Limited Games is handling the Switch release, and they came out and said that the Darius from the original Game Boy is going to be included.
Nice.
And They said it was never released over here, so they said this would be the first time we got it in English over here.
Like a shoot 'em up with metal fish.
Yes.
Darius.
Yeah. And monochrome. That's my favorite color.
And green. Shades of green and white.
Then you have Bubble 4.
What is that? Just coming to new platforms? Or because I've got the Switch one because it was out of print for so long.
No, it's just I think it's just, I don't know. I think I don't know what the hell that was about. I keep trying to go up there. My page keeps on not responding at certain points. So
Yeah, that Games Radar.
They've confirmed that it's headed to PC via Steam, is what the article.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Because the page is open now for Steam. But it's already published here from NN Games. Then they went into Black Panther: War for Wakanda expansion coming to the much dead Avengers.
Which got its last gen upgrade.
Then you had the universally hated Balan Wonderland, which comes out in March 26. Then we had the Life is Strange True Colors, not the Cyndi Lauper song. And then the remastered collection.
Phil Collins one.
That one
Back
works
to
as
the
well.
music references.
And now this page is having a problem. I can't finish this bit.
Brant, pick it up. Bring it home.
The last one was
finally died. Whatever this Games Radar, it's like it died trying to load everything in the sixes. It's like I see it on there. Every ad that's ever been made is loading on that page, and it's struggling. And I'm like, what the hell?
Sorry, I tried to find a decent, and that was one of the only first ones that came up that had stuff in chronological order.
We've sourced Games Radar before. It never shits the bed on us like this.
It's never done that, so I don't know what the hell's up with it today.
My error code is out of memory. It's pretty good error code.
Add memory.
The last thing is just
my computer's already maxed out. So
the last thing was
just
just
call back up. Like, hey guys, your website says out of memory. You need to just add more memory.
Call them up. Yeah, you'll have a problem.
Put this on your radar.
Yeah.
What was it? We talked about it. It's Project Athia. Got relabeled to Forspoken, and they showed a pretty interesting trailer with mostly cinematic. I think there was like a teeny tiny bit of gameplay in there, but it looks interesting. And that was pretty much it. I mean, they did come out and say a lot of what was going to be there, but even the small stuff that did get announced, it was kind of underwhelming to a lot of people. I mean, the biggest things were, I think, for a lot of people were that Forspoken and Life is Strange were what a lot of people talked about. Most of the rest of it,
I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt. This is their first one.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna play devil's advocate because everybody just craps on everybody else when they do it for the first time because they expected this high caliber stuff. I'll give them hell if they come out with a second one and it's like they made no improvements. I'm sure they're gonna get feedback and take a look at this. And I mean, between me and you, they could have done all this a lot shorter, a lot more rapid fire.
Or could have been an email, a press release.
Yeah. And secretly, I'm one of the few people on that last Nintendo Direct. I'm like, I prefer the smaller directs. That's just me. I didn't say it last time, but I'm like people get excited about the long ones. That's great, but I actually kind of prefer the shorter ones throughout the shorter period of time because it was like rapid. Yeah. Big ones that move on, and it's like this one. I was like, I don't know. That's just me. Everybody's different.
The problem is I mean, like, no matter what they do, no matter what they announce, there's always going to be people that come out and be like, well, they didn't announce this, but they didn't say this, but they didn't show this, but this, it was too long, it was too short. Did you see that? It was only in-game cinematics. They didn't show any gameplay. And so it's there's going to be people that are never happy no matter what. And I mean, we've got a Xbox presentation coming up in a couple of days that, I mean, is set to announce several titles is what they've said.
When is that one? I think I saw something about it, but not
Thursday
or Friday.
Next week?
Yeah.
I think this week.
Crap.
It's gonna be on what, Twitch? I think that was their deal.
Okay.
I think so.
They had Hades on their splash page, so everybody was super excited about that.
That's what stole. Yeah. That's what stole the headlines.
Yeah, and then they came out. They're like, "Well, no, Hades isn't gonna be like." Would they say that just to kind of try and throw everything off if it got kind of released early, or
pretty good about being honest about stuff? Of being like setting expectations. So
yeah, coming to Game Pass.
Maybe
like they're not wanting to sacrifice those sales leading up to Game Pass.
You got to remember that whatever deal that Supergiant Games, I believe, whatever deal they had with Nintendo, because remember Nintendo was the one that published this Hades game for them. So I think however long that deal is with them, they might not be able to talk about it, or maybe that's something. And we might see a Hades on like a sizzle reel for like later on this year, and they just can't give a date. Yeah. So it's probably why we don't want to go into it yet.
They did that thing with Fall Guys. I mean, it was somebody was like, "Oh, I wish I could play Fall Guys on Xbox," and they said, "Well, you may be able to," and then they had to come out and say, "Oh, well, no, we don't have any. Uh, we're not planning to release Fall Guys on Xbox," and then they released Fall Guys on Xbox. Yeah. So
Devolver Digital did not lie because Fall Guys got bought by another company and they're not releasing it on Xbox. They did not lie. So
that's true.
They had no plans.
True to their word.
Yep.
All right. Next up in news, we have some Nintendo Switch.
Oh no! Don't forget Life is Strange and remasters.
That's right, remasters. I was ready to move on from this 20-minute Square Enix story.
That's the only thing I cared about out of that one because I love the first one so much.
Did you ever play?
And
the
I love that
one?
We're getting a remaster on the PS4 for the game that originally came out for the PS4. It's happening, everybody. We're getting remasters the same generations. Let's go. Remaster everything again. Days Gone remaster on PS4. Let's go.
How's that a thing? How do you remaster a same generation title?
I don't know.
Who would want to play these old games?
I think
unless we throw a remaster on them.
I think that's what they told Jim Ryan. It's like, well, if we call it remaster, can we put it on the PS5? He's like, yeah, okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
It's not the same game. It's different.
we heard you don't like old games. How old did you mean by old games? Like, this came out like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Is it remastered?
Ooh.
Release it. Remaster gets an instant re-release. Did all
right, my bad.
Cesar, did you play the second Life is Strange? Was it before?
I did not play Before the Storm. I have not played or Part 2. I think the remaster we're getting is Before the Storm and the original one. I played the Awesome Adventures of something, which was like that gap
like
way was from the first game, and that he meets with the characters from the second game. I hear the second game is I hear from people sometimes that it's criminally underrated, and then some people just hate it with a passion. It's like another version of Last of Us 2. It's just like you have your people out there who hate it. The second one's garbage, and then you have some people like, I was skeptical, but I played it. It's actually pretty good.
Very divisive.
Yeah, and I a lot of people saw this True Colors one, the Cyndi Lauper version, and they were not. A lot of people were judgmental, like this already sucks. So, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's what you get when you make the first game so good. And I guess you create a community that's just going to go in 85 different directions.
Just like the Super Mario community.
Yes, exactly. That's that or the evil Pokemon community that has not.
Oh, I think we were talking about those communities a couple weeks ago.
I was like, I just liked the picture for a certain Pokemon, and I get hated on Twitter. I was like, stop looking at my like post. I'm sorry, I didn't know what I did. That was wrong. You don't support the Ruby generation. What? I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Ruby Army.
I just want to play Pokemon games.
I like that's flippers. Leave me alone.
I just want to live. I just want to play Pokemon games. I don't care.
All right, next up in news at last. Switch Roundup. This comes via Bloomberg. The big bit of this is that it will use new NVIDIA chip with DLSS support. DLSS support is deep learning super sampling. The chip is said to bring improvements to GPU and CPU performance with DLSS serving. That is such a bad combo. Serving as Nintendo's solution for displaying higher resolution images on 4K TV. So instead of the way I understand it, instead of natively rendering it, it learns how to produce those images. And it's
so you ever seen DLS on Final Fantasy 9 or Final Fantasy 7? It looks really good. It's artificial intelligence. It goes in there like, this is what I think it should look, and it just automatically fills out and fixes a lot of those pre-rendered scenes and make it looks like they're running off polygonal. So,
yeah, it does a way better job of blending, because the newer versions of those PS1 Final Fantasy games are jarring to me, because you have these really incredible beefed up character models, and then you still have those same flat pre-rendered backgrounds. It just looks off to me. But that process that Cesar's describing, it blends the two together. It takes those original, because they were just like JPEG images in there, right? Where they were just like image files that you would run your character around on, and it fleshes them out and makes them look real.
So the way I look at it is like that DLS is like another way of technology where it's like you said, it just uses artificial intelligence, and like I think this is what it will look like if this was on a 4K image, and instead of actually having to put 4K images on the game, they just it just knows like, okay, I'm going to display it like this on the TV, but when it's not on the TV, I don't need to do this.
And a lot of those instances, it looks better than an actual remaster because it's the actual original content that's being. It's not someone's interpretation of how that needs to look. It's whatever this deep learning is that's creates those samples and combines that stuff, and it looks more like a natural up conversion.
So what they've said on there, I think what the rumor that's going around, and we don't know how likely this is because that old chipset is going out on those Switches at some point, is that they're they're not going to get rid of the old Switch.
No.
So they're thinking what's going to happen. It's going to be similar to like when we had the 3DS, the new 3DS, where at some point they're just going to like they don't make these chips anymore, so everything's going to be on this Pro, and then move everybody on that one. But I don't think it matters because majority of that stuff is going to work just fine on the old Switches, but. Yeah. At some point, the old Switches will be phased out, and this is what they're going to be rocking with. So
the Tegra X1 system on a chip is what Cesar's referencing, which came out in 2015. But the screen will still be 720p, which if it's rendering 4K with this DLSS stuff is not going to be an issue. The report also lists an OLED screen, which our launch Vitas have.
There's actually these OLED screens now are probably going to be better than those launch Vitas. So.
Yeah, and more energy efficient.
OLEDs now are way better. Yeah.
And more energy efficient. The reason they weren't already in screens like that is cost, right? And that they're more expensive to produce.
And you get like a lot of weird artifacting. I get it on my Vita sometimes with the OLED screen. It doesn't happen often, but if you look at dark colors, you'll see some weird artifacts here and there.
Yeah.
But it's just nature of the beast because those were brand spanking new at the time. So
I'm hoping with like that because like the OLED TVs haven't made the impact that they need to. I'm hoping with and aren't the newer iPhones OLED screens? Yep.
I think everything is OLED now on the phone.
Well, they're talking about doing iPads and iMacs and all that kind of stuff. So the more that this is being pushed out there, the lower those prices drop.
Yeah,
which is the ultimate goal.
It's gonna look good. Like I think what was it? Me and you both follow Jason Schreier on Twitter, and I think he was talking about like I guess some people were. I think Matt Pescatello was skeptical about it, but I mean he brought up a point. You got a new Zelda coming out, maybe randomly another Xenoblade or whatever Monolith's working on. They're gonna want that stuff running and looking on the best. So he's like, he was like, I won't be surprised if it comes out that quickly this fall. Because I think Matt Pescatello was like, it's kind of weird that they're selling hot. Why would you throw a grenade in there and see what happens? But
$350 to $400 was the price that they threw out there.
Yeah, I think his concern was just that those chipsets are right now are for everything is on a shortage. Yeah. Because of demand, so it's like you're going to introduce a new component instead of using old ones that are already readily available. So it's like you're gonna create an unknown demand this fall already on something that's already pretty strained on TVs and other game consoles. So
while we're mentioning that, you officially, as of this recording, have 7 days to purchase your Mario collections before they are erased from the face of the earth.
He will die. He will die in 7 days.
Jesus. Y'all saw they got Nintendo Direct trending on Twitter just talking about Mario's execution is on March 31st. That shit was
public execution. Yeah. I'm gonna buy I get paid this Friday. I'm gonna get a digital copy, and I think after that I'm done. So
crazy, man. And they keep reminding people. I'm like, there's no way they follow through with this. They're gonna start reversing all this stuff. They just keep reminding people.
It's ridiculous. I mean, they because they said any retail stores that have stock, they're basically gonna sell through.
Yeah.
And not send any more. But they've said that any like official Nintendo stores, because there's a couple, they're basically just going to pull stock as soon as the 31st.
And do what with them?
I don't know. Take it to a warehouse, pile them up, cover them in gas, and burn them.
They learned, yeah. It was the Joker.
Yeah.
It's all about making what was the saying on there?
Some people just want to see the world burn. I don't know.
No, not that one. It's like,
people just want to see Mario burn.
There was one where he burned all the money, and there was a saying he said on there. It's like, It's not about the money. It's about setting an example or something like that. He was burning all the money. It was like, I can make more money. Gasoline fire's cheap. They just learned it from Disney. They're just going to open up a vault and throw it in there, and then by the time they take it out, it's going to be obsolete for whatever they got in the future. So.
Who would have thought like 5 or 6 years ago that Microsoft would be the leaders of like preserving their legacy and making old games playable?
I heard pervert.
I started to say pervert. Microsoft is pervert.
They're the leaders of perversion.
There we go. No, leaders of perversion.
They were until they pulled Gal Gun.
It is smart.
Full circle. Oh shit!
It was smart of them to do it. They took something out of the page book from Sony and Nintendo, because remember when Sony and Nintendo were down in the dumps, they went back to the back catalog and put out there, and they were down too, and they're like, what do we got here that can appease the people that's worked? I mean,
When you're getting your ass whooped, remind people why you loved us in the first place.
Now, what's amazing is that they're on the up and up, and they're going to continue with it. That's the amazing part. So because most time you look at Sony and Nintendo, they just kind of like, we don't need virtual console anymore. Yep. Pay $20 a year, and you can play these ROMs that you can get rid of at any point, and then you got the Sony stuff that's happening at some point. So I
actually played some of those games this past week. Cesar, Xbox Live might not be called Xbox Live much longer, possibly.
It's just they're changing the Xbox Network. I'm not reading anything else. That's all.
That's literally
that's the greatest
story.
Update. Thanks, Richard, for the hot potato. I'm handing it back to whatever goes next. I mean, there's literally nothing else in there that's going to happen.
It.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
they threw another jab in them in the article about how they don't have plans to rebrand or discontinue Xbox Live Gold, except they tried to price hike it and then they were forced to reverse it. They had to throw that in there, but.
Yeah, that's all that's happening is that they're just changing the name to Xbox Live. And they're on the same par as Nintendo and PlayStation now, or the Xbox Network. They're all named network. So.
What do you think is going to fall under the... Because Xbox Live was the forefront for console online gaming. The Dreamcast, but the first mass adoption was definitely the Xbox.
I don't know. I mean, we had SegaNet. We had BS.
BS, the satellite.
Don't forget those, man.
Yeah.
Don't forget the Genesis had SegaNet, or was it Sega Channel, or whatever that shit was?
I think it was Sega Channel, and the SegaNet started with the Saturn. I have a SegaNet modem.
Sega's been doing fucking online forever, man.
They were.
I mean,
Nintendo's been doing that too. It just never came here.
They had the modem in the bottom of the NES for stock market things and all that stuff. That's what that little tab on the bottom of the NES is for.
They had some network games on the Famicom, original Famicom.
All Microsoft did was create a friends list and an online market. That's all they did.
Yeah,
and they did it well.
I didn't say they did it wrong. I just said that's all they did.
Yeah, their original interface, their chat system, parties. I mean, everything they did and the way they integrated it was so smooth and just so easy. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So as they restructure all that stuff, it seems like it's going to be called Xbox Network now. I wonder if more things are going to fall under that. If they're going to change it to, well, I guess Game Pass is its own thing. It's not going to be rebranded as anything else. They're still driving that brand pretty hard.
Well, I mean, they could integrate it in there if they start integrating Game Pass and other devices. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Or if you called it, would you bridge it over to like Xbox Network Ultimate? Would you rebrand it as that, where you just get...
At that point, when you have it on multiple devices and you're trying to get people who are not natively gaming, you want to go with whatever is going to be the easiest recognizable thing. Most people recognize Xbox for gaming. Yeah. Xbox Game Pass might be a mouthful, and it's not for us. I don't think it's a big deal for us, but for you're trying to get somebody that is a casual gamer. Right. Xbox Network with Ultimate or something like that might be easier to say, or Xbox Network. It's easier for me to say Xbox Network. You can pay a certain amount of dollars a month, and you get these games up to 150 of them you can play anytime you want. It's easier to sell, kind of like Netflix or something.
So that's for the people that are outside the ecosystem, you're thinking, where you're just like, okay, $15 is your Xbox Network pass, where you get everything that we have. Does that include, do you think they branched this off into like original content and stuff? Remember when they tried to do like the videos that they would put out on 360? Didn't PlayStation do that? Didn't PlayStation have like a TV show on PS3?
The Tester.
The Tester, that's what it was.
Yeah, still on YouTube, I think. Yeah, you still, they got them on there now. I mean, secretly between me, I think you brand everything on the Xbox Network would be easier to put that on. Like if you want to put on other consoles or other things, you can just Xbox Network versus having this whole convoluted naming system on other consoles or something like that. Right. So our competitor. So
here's the branding we had to jump through, and this isn't Xbox Live. This is Xbox Game Pass for Stadia or whatever, LG TVs, whatever they want to make it.
Yeah.
I need to see if that's a side note. All right. Look for more of that in the future. Sure. I'll take this one real quick. I forced this one into the news. Did you guys see this story that Tony Hawk's soft modding for the PS1?
Yes.
This is the shit that I like probably really wouldn't put in news, but it excites
Yes, me too.
because I love shit like this.
All right, so a guy found a way, basically a code dump, like a bypass. What are the best examples of
An
this?
exploit.
Yeah, an exploit. So on the original Xbox,
like what was it? Splinter Cell,
Mech Warrior or Mech Assault, and there was one other game. Was it Prince of? It wasn't Prince of Persia. There was one other game. So
there's something else.
It basically, the code in the game, the developer didn't put a lock in a certain bit of the code during the save system, and a hacker or whoever you programmer can insert code into that unprotected block to potentially run an exploit. So it consists of loading a save onto the console, then you can get the console to perform like you want it to. So that's how a lot of people soft mod Xboxes, and we've now, 30 years after the PS1? Are we up to that point yet? They found a way to.
I think it's 27.
27
at this point.
You load it's called Tony Hacks. You download a Create a Skater, or you have the hack on your memory card, and then you go into the Create a Skater mode on Tony Hawk 2, Tony Hawk 3, or Tony Hawk 4, and it will run the process and basically take you to a screen where you do not have to do the hot swap of discs. You can pop in any burned media after that point. I guess I didn't reread through everything. Do you have to do that each time you want to load a ROM? So you have to.
That would be my.
So you have to do the
guess.
swap every time.
Is because it's a soft mod. Yeah. You're gonna have to.
So there's
boot up into that and then.
I just don't know on the multi-disc stuff. I don't think you have to do on the multi-disc anything. If it prompts for the next disc, you just pop in the next disc.
They did say it works for multi-disc games, which is really cool. So it's kind of like the pseudo Saturn, like the early days of the pseudo Saturn. That's that sort of compatibility. But the disc is looking for, so the way the swap trick used to work, and me and Cesar got good at this on the Saturn back in the day. Hell, I seen Brant do it on one too. But
I got good at this.
So the system is looking for a wobble of code on the very inside of the disk. So once it gets that, on the Saturn famously, you can look through the little clear. They probably regret that now. You can look through the clear part of the lid and see when that. Well, no, you have it up anyways. You have a little pin or something in there to make it think the system's closed. So you'll see the disk slow down. So if you time it right, you can pop. The system will have gotten that bit into the RAM off the disk, and then you pop your burned one on there, and it thinks it's playing actual retail disk. And this just does it to where you can take your time and not potentially tear up your CD-ROM drive, which was always the fear, especially with Saturns. So it's actually really cool. I wanted to try this before the show, but I didn't quite get down to knocking it out. But I've got everything else to put it on there if you guys want me to try it for y'all.
Heck yeah. And there's a list. I mean, of course, they call it Tony Hacks because they found the exploitable save file code within Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. But like you said, I mean, it's 2, 3, 4, and I believe if you look on the internet for information about it, there's all sorts of threads.
Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling and Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling 2.
Yeah, there's actually a few more.
They might be cheaper to get than Tony Hawk by this point.
Yeah. The Tony Hawk games were pretty massively produced. Yeah. So I mean there's millions of those out there in the ecosystem. So I mean they're not too expensive.
This is awesome though. I love developments like this because somebody will pick up that work and take it to the next level to where you don't have to do the. All right, so a complete copy of Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling 2 is $13 on eBay. And again, you only need the disc, so you just need something to read that initial boot, and then you can pop it out and go with whatever you need to. I'm waiting for these people to start labeling it as Tony Hawk, so they get the. Are there memory cards on here yet? Has anybody looked?
I do not know. I'm sure they have to be. People are probably already selling modded cards because I know you either have to have like a modded PlayStation 2 to get those files on that card.
There it is, $12.99 or free 4-day shipping.
There's going to be that new was it a Kickstarter or something? The like Memory Card Pro. Have you seen those?
That's already out, or did they just announce it?
Is it?
I think people were getting, it may have been preview units. But it's like an infinite PS1 memory card, right?
Yeah, and you can just pop in a micro SD in
You
there.
could flash it to that if you needed to. But I've got the modded, or I've got the free boot for PS2 that we could do the file transfer on if y'all want to give that a shot. I think I have enough PS1 memory cards laying around too, as a matter of fact. They're super cheap. This might be, now that I'm putting this out loud, this might be a decent way to make some money. I don't know.
You know how I feel. You know how I feel about work versus the amount of time you put in there. So
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how long it takes to run that code and put it on that memory card, and how many you want to mass produce.
yeah. I mean, if you want to sit there and play games all day and just pop in stuff in there and set it up, then yeah, go for it. But I'm already busy as shit, so I'm like,
and it's somebody else's code. I feel kind of weird about that.
Yeah.
Well,
it's open source, yeah.
Then people just like, hey, you could do this. I'm like, dude, I don't have any fucking free time as it is. I'm like, how am I gonna go around and do this shit?
Yeah, who wants to play those old games anyway?
You go inside Jim Ryan's closet at home, and he has every copy of Tony Hawk ever made for PlayStation 1. He's hoarding them all.
I've got Tony Hawk 1 and 2 for the original PlayStation.
I have a signed copy of the first one. Somehow.
Look at you.
This guy has sold 57 of them on eBay, so there's at least 57 people, Jim Ryan, wanting to play old games. All right, I'm going to step away for half a second. And Brant, would you tell us about that new Pikmin game that may or may not be Pikmin 4?
So there's a brand new Pikmin game that was announced. It is not Pikmin 4, unfortunately.
Sure, did you check again?
Well, I guess technically this would be, Pikmin
did you
4.
Email Miyamoto and be like, hey, you sure you didn't mean 4, not whatever the fuck this is?
Yeah. So this article comes from The Verge by Jay Peters. And basically it's Niantic's continuing partnership with Nintendo. Of course, they did the extremely popular Pokemon Go game, and now they are working with them to do a Pikmin-themed AR game. Uh-oh. There you are.
You froze.
I
didn't hear anything you said.
Oh, no. Where did you lose me?
You said working with Nintendo, and then it was just a series of.
So they're working with Nintendo, to bring a Pikmin-themed AR
Good job.
game.
Hold on. Welcome back, Richard.
So it's
You left and then Brant froze, and so we sat here with nothing said for the last minute.
Nah, I'll cut it out.
No. It wasn't that bad.
It was for a good bit. I'm just sitting with my arms up, like, yes, we did it. Dead silence.
Just because I walked away. I'll see it in the recording too. I'll clip it out.
So I think their aim with this is to make walking more enjoyable. Blah blah blah.
I mean,
and they're
really right the first time with Dragon Quest. Why am I gonna do it now with Pikmin
or Pokemon?
Yeah. So I mean, they really there's not really much else besides just it has been announced. No date, no real details. So that'll probably be something in the future. I believe you can go ahead and sign up.
I might just do that
to be informed when it's released. But other than that, that's basically all that.
Yeah, I think I'm signing up. I want to try this out. We live in
I'd
a
be
neighborhood
interested
now,
to see
so I'm intrigued. Ooh.
You can actually walk around without something trying to murder you
at high speed.
Yeah,
basically.
This next story is perfect for Cesar.
Yeah,
it's from Gamatsu from Sal Romano. It's Cesar's Astro City Mini that he had imported.
Yeah.
What was it? Last year you had that thing imported, or
it was a Christmas gift to myself because it was released on Christmas.
Oh.
So it has been announced that we will be receiving it here in the United States or in North America via limited run. So it's kind of odd that they're the ones that got chose to produce and distribute this.
It's usually like a Amazon exclusive or something like that.
I was about to say, I would assume it would have been like an Amazon deal. But no, I believe it is this Friday. Yeah, March 26th. Pre-orders will open. They will have the Astro City Mini
I hate
arcade
that word
cabinet.
pre-orders because they say pre-orders, but there's only 3,500 available.
Right.
Oh my
Do they
gosh.
think
Yeah,
that
I don't know
demand's?
why they said that.
They think demand's going to be lower than that?
They're pretty expensive, so
Yeah.
Yeah. But they'll have the mini cabinet. They'll have the
I'm buying the little
gamepad,
stand and another gamepad. That's all I'm getting.
and they'll have the style kit, as Cesar referred to, which is
Yeah.
basically puts it up on basically like a little stand that makes it look like a actual miniature arcade
Like a
cabinet
riser.
and gives it a little stool.
I have a Tondudo who would love to play Virtua Fighter, so he's sitting up there. He's like, buy the stand.
Oh, you said I
And
think Cesar when you
it's-
played it for us, you said the gamepad was really cool, right?
I'm seriously thinking about buying 2 gamepads because I think it will fucking rock on a PC. That D-pad's so fucking immaculate.
Nice.
I mean, it's so immaculate. Excuse my language. Yeah.
What were the standouts on this?
All these years of cussing, he's like, now he wants to be better. Okay.
His New
like
Year's
the reverse
resolutions
Jim Ryan.
kicking in.
The reverse Jim Ryan.
Yeah, there's
Who's gonna cuss?
there's
It's gonna
37 games on this, and you went through a few of them. I think it was pre-show or after show, and just kind of showed us, and I mean it looked flawless.
Cotton's a standout. Columns is a standout. What else did you like off of it?
Oh man, that Aladdin game. Golden Axe. The Golden Axe version we never got.
Arabian Fight, is that the one you're referencing?
Yep. Virtua Fighter. Not the bullcrap Genesis version. No offense to you, Genesis version. I'm sorry. What was the other game that was a Sega staple in there? I can't think of it. I know it was Golden Axe, and there was another
Space
one.
Harrier,
if you look on that list.
Shinobi. There's 3 Wonder Boy games, 2 Puyo Puyos, Fantasy Zone,
Keep going.
Bonanza Brothers,
No, yeah. When I think of Sega, I think of Bonanza
Alex
Brothers.
Kidd.
No.
Thunder Force,
God.
We're running out of options.
Stack
here, Cesar.
Columns, Space
Huh?
Harrier.
No. I could just be looking at this this list instead of this weird game we're
We're
playing.
just guessing here.
Yeah.
Rad
I
Mobile,
think we've named all the big heavy hitters there.
Puyo Puyo.
So Golden Axe Revenge of the Death Adder that's only ever been released in arcade. That's the one I referred
Okay.
to. The other one I must be full of shit. It might be just full of crap. It must be Cotton. So
All right, so look forward to that this Friday.
because I'm sure as hell not going around like I can't wait to play some Game Ground.
Game Ground's not awful.
Sure.
Puyo Puyo.
I mean we can
There's some good games on here. It's a very specific list.
Yeah.
always play your favorite game of all time, Rise from Your Grave.
Rise from your grave.
Why am I keep dying?
I actually played through that with a friend. I have beat Altered Beast on Genesis. Oh.
It's on the. We can play Alter Beast. Let's do it.
Yo, they decided that was a pack, and they were like, make this the game everybody gets.
Until Sonic came out, and they're like, all right, what we're thinking.
Yeah, and Tom Kalinske had to fight to get that to be the pack, and they wanted to.
Like, why would we put our best game in there? It's like, you should put your best
Why
game
would
in
we
there.
do that?
Yeah.
Who would
Yeah.
play this best
Why?
game?
We're gonna cannibalize ourselves. It's like that's how you sell consoles.
Is that Sega Genesis Classics, the one for Switch? Is that one that same drop in and drop out like the Nintendo Online stuff? Do y'all know? Because that's something we could fuck around with. That's a bunch of old games.
I have on PS4 and I have it on Switch, and it's you talking about the one that just recently came out with?
It's been like 2 years. It's got Toe Jam and Earl and Sonic 1 and 2 on it.
So,
and all those.
It has the aesthetic where you load up it's like a
Yes.
child's bedroom.
Yes.
And you have a tube TV, and then you have to the right like a kind of like a stand with like 30 games, and you just pick the games and all that.
That's the one.
It is essentially like the Nintendo Online thing, where you drop in the game, you get the features of you don't get the rewind, but you get the save states and all that jazz.
But do you get the drop in and drop out people? That's what I'm saying. If Brant just has to switch around and we fuck around and want to play Altered Beast, does it work out?
I have a digital copy, so we can try
Okay.
it. So if you want to,
I've definitely got that. That was one of those games in those lists I made forever ago. But I don't think I've ever tried the online multiplayer with that game.
Why?
I have not either, because it usually is when I feel like I'm in the mood for that nonsense. How much is that Astro City Mini we were talking about,
It's
guys?
130.
129.99.
I am looking now in my Amazon Japanese page, and I will tell you how much I paid and let you know if that was a good deal or not.
And these are the Japanese
Gosh.
units. They are just in English packaging.
I want to
That's
say
correct.
Wario had, after he announced this via
After he
Twitter,
announced
he
it.
put
Yeah, basically.
he well, I mean, he always gets on shit, all these announcements like right before they're like either as they're announced or sometimes like right before. And it was right after it went up. He said it, what was it, Amazon Japan, you could get it, I believe it was like 150 shipped to the US, something like that. So
If you don't want to battle
I
the
paid
madness.
I paid 139 shipped.
So it's
wow.
about right. It's about what it should be.
I mean, I think if you look at it now, I think it's one, like you said, it's more money now to get it shipped from Japan. But when I originally bought it, I think because they kept dropping the price on it because I just pre-ordered it, and it just Amazon Japan is really good on it. That price isn't what you will never pay. They always freaking drop. On the other hand, the controller, I paid $40 for instead of the 24. So
Yeah.
That controller looks freaking great.
controller is amazing.
Yeah. All right, that's your Astro City Mini. Let's try to wrap this up. We talked, was it last month or 2 months ago? Google Stadia would give you a free Google Stadia Premier Edition if you pre-ordered Cyberpunk through their program. The next game that they're going to do that with is Resident Evil Village, and this runs through May 21st. So if you purchase Resident Evil Village for $60 for the standard or the $70 for the deluxe, you will get a Google Stadia Premier Edition, which is a white Stadia controller, Chromecast Ultra, and for new users, a 1-month trial subscription to Stadia's Pro Tier service. This comes from The Verge. Again,
And they did say that, yeah, that was they. I mean, basically, this announcement confirmed that Resident Evil Village was coming, to Stadia, and they were also going to put 7 on there as well.
as I've said, I've played probably 4 to 5 hours of Stadia, and I enjoyed all of it except for the setup. The setup sucked ass, but everything else about it was great. If that's the ecosystem you want to get into, I don't know how much. They just recently cut down on their first party output, and Jade Raymond got the hell out and started a studio with seemingly Sony. So I don't know if you're going to get your first party titles there, but this, if you travel a lot or this niche works for somebody, these agreements are. I wouldn't say they're paying off, but Google's still writing the checks at least. So, and the controller's great. The latency is like slim to none. So if this is your jam and you just want to play Resident Evil and try it on this new hardware, this might be the way to go. I'm still amazed that we used to play PUBG and wait for those loading screens and get dropped from them and all kinds of stuff, and I was right there in it. And Panzer Dragoon, I hit start and I was playing it. Like I never waited on anything. It was really cool. Last up in news, this will probably be our lengthiest news segment. Do we have a lot in games played? We're almost an hour in.
Not really.
Not really, me either. All right, as Cesar teased a little bit earlier in the episode about digital sales and stores going away, were we doing the podcast when Nintendo pulled the plug on the Wii Shop channel? Didn't we?
Yeah.
I thought I remembered us running through. Make sure you get Konami Rebirth Collection, and make sure you get Rondo of Blood, because that was like one of.
We went down a list of games. There were certain like that tomato graphic novel one that was never released anywhere else, and
Yep.
there were certain things.
So just like, and I don't think it is as dire as that from my understanding, but the Gamer is reporting. Go ahead.
We don't know the full story yet because it hasn't been officially been.
Yeah, Sony hasn't confirmed. So
communicated.
we may end up talking about this more later on. Next week, 2 weeks. Do we want to save our deep dive into digital stuff until next week until we know it's news?
Yeah, because I would wait until we get the because we don't know what it entails. So I mean, all we know is that the rumor is at some point those stores are going away. Was it July?
This is
for PSP.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And PS3. Yeah, you were going. My bad. Yeah, go.
So the Gamer has reported, and other people picked this up, saying the PS3, Vita, and PSP stores will be permanently closed in a few months. So that means no longer purchasing the games at all, according to what we know. PSP and PS3 stores to be closed on July 2nd, while the Vita store will stay open until August 27th. After those dates, you'll no longer be able to purchase digital copies of games or DLC for any of the Sony consoles mentioned above. So, in comparison, quickly to what Nintendo did, Nintendo, you can't even download the games that you already own or the license that you have. You are done. So,
Yeah, they gave you a deadline, like you have to download it by this date, and after that is
screwed. So that we don't have official confirmation of that yet. This may just be purchases. Late last year, they turned off the native PS3 store on. No, it was just the PS3 store on PC, right? It was the opposite of what they did to PSP. So you can go on the device and buy them. You couldn't do it on the computer. And so the PSP was you could buy it on PC on their storefront. You couldn't go on the device anymore. They didn't have those native stores there. But the download list, like I've downloaded PSP games recently. That download list is still there. So I'm hoping this sucks regardless, but I'm hoping they do the download list. The first thing I saw, I read it wrong, and I messaged Cesar. I'm like, okay, here we go. 2 terabyte drives. Like, what are we putting in these things? We got to pull everything down as soon as possible.
I mean, the max you can have on a PS3 is a 1.5.
Oh, I thought it was 2 for some reason.
2 you can have on a PS4.
Okay. 1.5 is the max. Holy shit. And then people are pointing out, like, and this is one thing I've juggled around and even talked about on this show. I've got a sealed copy of Ratchet and Clank collection for PS3. I've just never gotten around to playing it. I just recently on the show was playing some of the Sly games and some of the Jak and Daxter games that I had opened. But it gets to a point where that sealed copy is worth more to keep it sealed. You know, we're collectors. You're coming to the show for a certain bit of that. And the digital one is $20, which is way less than I would pay for even a used open copy of that particular game. So you're taking away this option for people where we can't even, like, I can't even buy that digital copy of Ratchet and Clank. So it's not good. Another point that I saw pointed out was, like, a lot of these games, this was starting to get into the era of the day one patch where you'd pop in a disc and then, you know, you get an immediate update. What was on the disc was obsolete as soon as you popped it in and started playing it. So, you know, where do those go? Where do those go? What versions of those games are going to be stored or going to be preserved somewhere?
I would think if they're going to kill the download list, they would give you more time. So, not to say that the stores weren't closing down, we're still not losing the download list. Yeah. I would imagine they would give more time, but I've been proven wrong before. So, I don't think, you know, like, hey, get your stuff in 3 months. Yeah. But I mean, we knew this was coming because the new redesigned store only had PS4, PS5. There's no point in keeping that stuff on the server to off if nobody can purchase it. So it was like, why wouldn't Namco pay money for Sony to keep a license of a downloadable version of Tell's games on for PS3 if nobody has a way to purchase it? You know, it don't make sense. No. So, you know, if you're gonna have people pulling out the store, then what's the point of having the store? And as you said before, the download list is separate from the store. It's under your account management. So it's not actually in the store app. You can download stuff from the store app, but the download list is in the account management. Yeah. So,
and again,
we don't know if
these are the legal options. Like, we've paid for some of these, but these are the legal options to then purchase new content. And all you're going to do is, okay, if I want to play Ratchet and Clank, I'm still not going to open that sealed copy. I'm going to find a way to get it, and they don't see a dime of that. So just like people are doing with the Wii games. All those Rebirth games and everything, you could still play those. We're not going to mention that on this on the show and how to go find it, but those are certainly playable to this day.
If you're crafty, you can find a way to play. Let's just put it that way. We won't say how or to do it, but you find a way. There's a will, there's a way. So. And
I guess they've decided that it's worth the offset of maintaining those servers in those stores that they'll lose out on those sales. But why not? Why not upgrade that service and keep it going? Again, this is what Microsoft has been so good at doing is keeping those relevant. Like, I saw Prince of Persia: Sands of Time was like $350 on Xbox Live this past week. Like, okay, it's an awesome game. It's $350 and it plays on all your Xbox consoles all the way through.
The whole reason why that's not going to work is this because their whole philosophy on older games. So at no point that you're going to be able to drop in a PS1 disc in there to play a PS1 game because if I remember correctly, the PS5 doesn't play CD-ROMs.
I know the PS4 didn't.
Yeah. So at the second point, they went through the whole thing where they have a way to emulate stuff and add trophies and, you know, add some more where they can up the graphics to 1080p. And they offered that to publishers, and the reason why it didn't happen is because it actually cost money for them to go to. They had one studio that handled that, and it was for Sony in Europe.
Was that when they did the
And
Parappa and what was the other one built off that emulator?
I think two, like Rockstar went through and did like their whole catalog from PS2,
That's right.
like Bully and Grand Theft Auto, and like Namco was kicking around some ideas because remember they were asking people like, "Hey, what do you want to see?" And Namco never did one, even though they went on like Haruta went on Twitter and was like he was super excited about it at first, and I think the reason why is because they probably looked at the cost, and the sales on there, it just didn't add up. Like they didn't give them an option like, "Hey, just drop the DVD, you can download the ISO of this." You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not what that's what Microsoft did.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and then there's no way you're going to be able to properly emulate the PS3 games, all of them at least, because I mean those were made on NVIDIA graphics cards, different chipsets. It's easier for the Xbox because they were using Power PCs on the original 360, and those are a little bit easier. I mean, it took God's work for them to get it there. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking
They're wizards. We're not taking away from anything that they did technically.
Right, but they were able to do it. I think I don't think Sony's going to invest that money in there. Like if it came down to a point, and I made this comment before, if Sony was like in dead last console wise, and that's what they're going based off sales, they would be forced to look at stuff like this. At this point, it's no point. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's only going to be a select. They look at it as like a select few of us who are enthusiasts to have all these games. Are going to be like, oh, this sucks. But they're a corporation, so
Nintendo still kills me because everybody's clamoring for a virtual console. I would buy so many fucking games on a virtual console for Switch. God damn. They finally have the device. Like, this is the epitome of a Nintendo device. This is a Game Boy. This is a console. This is a multiplayer powerhouse. This is online. They figured out just about everything. Just about everything. And there's no way to really enjoy the back catalog. And then when they do release these Mario masterpieces, we get a deadline for them.
Or their ROMs they took off another website. So I mean, because they don't know how to dump stuff themselves,
So hey, maybe all this pissing and moaning about the PSP store going down, and we had a Mario game for 6 months, and they're fucking pulling it. Maybe we're aiming this in the wrong direction. Thank you, Sony, for letting us play these PSP games for 15 years.
You'll see at some point when there's more of a camaraderie from Microsoft on their game preservation and it turns into sales, then you're going to see some movement where other people. At this point, those two companies, Nintendo and PlayStation, are on top in their own areas. They don't have to worry about that. It's a business that got to make money, so they're not going to look at investing money on that if they don't have.
And then you have 20 years of Steam doing only digital DRM sales and saying, hey, we're lasting. But that store has been there, and I've invested in the Steam store because I know that platform is going to persist. It's going to be around.
We never had a question to it, even though the only launcher we have a question to now is the Bethesda launcher. But
what is that going to be?
At some point, it would go away, right? It makes sense, right?
You must update Xbox's companion app.
I would think that at some points, like whatever you purchase on that launcher, like that's owned by Bethesda, they would find a way to give you credit on the Windows Store and be like, hey, you own this now, or Xbox or something like that. I mean, Microsoft will probably do that hit.
Do I have any games in there? I think I bought some games in there.
Oh, I think we got in there when it was like when Morrowind was free and stuff like that when they first did the launcher.
Okay, that actually freaked me out. I typed in BET and got the Xbox console companion, but it was the beta. It's the beta app.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I was like, it already began.
So yeah, I mean, launchers don't really go too far. So
no.
I mean, it's digital. It's just we don't know what's going to happen. At some point, is Sony going to keep that? Are they going to honor those purchases? Are they going to keep those servers up? Is it cost effective for them to keep those servers up? It's a whole money thing.
Right.
So it is what it is. So because every one of us can make the argument we paid money for it. But if we're not constantly using it, they're gonna be like, "Well, you guys are not using it, and we're not gonna sit here with no reason to have it." At
the end of all of our end user license agreement, at the very end of all those pages, it probably says, "Hey, this can be removed at any point, and no compensation given, and all that kind of shit." So, this is just a goodwill thing at this point.
At this point, this is something I can see where people love suing Sony. This is something where they can take to court and argue ownership of digital media, because that's always.
Is there a precedent for that? Like, have we had that precedent of? It hasn't come to that point, has it? Nintendo could have. It could have been that, but people were so burned out of the Wii by then.
this, people love to sue Sony. This could be the one where, it gets the ball rolling. Like, hey, you just can't, you can't just do that, because this is probably the first big one you're killing 3 generations here. So, Nintendo's only killed 1 generation at a time. So this is the first time they're going to kill 3 generations at once. So.
I even paid Nintendo to fucking upgrade my Wii licenses to Wii U licenses. I paid them for like 8 games to transfer those to my freaking Wii U. Why? To play worse versions? It was almost worse on every single account on the Wii U versus the Wii. Whatever.
I mean, Nintendo's been Jim Ryan at first before Sony was. So.
Yeah. They are. They're the ultimate
They
Jim Ryan.
They just never openly said it. So,
How many times have we each bought Super Mario Brothers over the years?
Too many.
I just, at some point, I would hope at this point I think gaming's so weird. It's just that
we are the worst media. I know where you're going with this. We are the worst media with preservation of history. We are the absolute worst. From the stories of the content creators from, earlier, and documentation, and like a masterpiece source code. How do you lose the source code to Panzer Dragoon Saga or Final Fantasy VIII? Like, how is that just... We just rewrote it. We built a new game and we had to move on to the next one, and we needed that space and we wrote over it.
Yep. Yeah.
We are the worst.
Yeah, they just deleted. Yeah. Because they never, they lived in the moment with gaming. It was never like at some point like who would want to play these games,
It's still like that.
Yeah. It was like I think at this point, I think Sony and Nintendo are at this point like, hey, we're not gonna don't rely on us to do the game preservations for y'all games. Y'all need to hold on to y'all's, codes, and they're leaving it up to the publishers to, bring those previous games they had to the console. So it's just at some point, is there enough demand for, I mean, look, we're Ninja Gaiden. We just had an article about Ninja Gaiden why we didn't get the Xbox versions, because the code was lost on those.
Yeah,
that's the whole reason. There was no other reason, because they had that whole interview and they asked them like, why are we doing the PS3 versions that people felt weren't fair?
Why are we getting Sigma instead of the other ones?
Right, and then the guy's like, to be honest with you, we don't have the codes for the originals. That was what happened. He said that's why those were not on there. He cleared it up, and some people were like, that sucks. And the Twitter comments were like, that sucks, but now it makes sense why this is happening. Because some people they were hoping we'd get all 3 versions, like the Vita one, the PS3 one, and the Xbox, and the 360 one.
Awesome. Wouldn't it be cool to like Master Chief Collection, like hit the back button or whatever, and just see those different builds of them? Yeah.
Scroll through.
I mean, that would be great for preservation, but the director was honest. He's like, hey, we lost those codes, and it's like we can't reverse engineer them on the Xbox. Basically they could. They said they're not going to spend the money to do that. So that's basically what he said. They're not going to spend the money to do that.
Preservation. This is why this conversation is a culmination of why you hear us talking about buying physical and not being all in on streaming services or things like that are not as tangible, because it has an end date at some point. Even something as big as a Sony store or Nintendo store is the prime example. It's going to go away. So.
I know it's a demand thing too, because the sucky thing is we have all these games, and these companies have these ISOs, and they can run an emulator like Sony did on those PS2 and just drop an image in there. That's all they're doing is an image inside the emulator. It's just nobody. I just don't think the cost is not there for the demand. That's why they don't do it. Otherwise, it's a slam dunk. Yeah. They'll be doing it all the time. And people bought it, but it's just not there. I think it only was there for Rockstar. That's why Rockstar went through their whole catalog and brought everything over, because they're the only ones making money.
Or we get it as a remake. This is the past year where we got Destroy All Humans and Stubbs the Zombie remakes, remasters.
Yeah.
Well, Stubbs the Zombie's like a straight port.
It is what it is.
And Destroy All Humans actually was touched up pretty good.
Yeah, they
all right, y'all want to get in? Are we done with news?
Yeah,
are we done bitching and moaning about digital games?
No, it is what it is. Hopefully we'll find out. Like I think what you're trying to say, we'll get some news at the end of the month, see what's going to happen, because we don't want to recommend anything. We don't want to tell anybody go out there buy this shit and they're going to close down your download list. There's because I'm looking at, because I was telling you that I was looking like, what am I missing? And there was some stuff out there, like some weird Japanese stuff they brought over the PS1, like Heroine's Dream and some other like
I've got
visual
to get
novels
like
I never
Rhythm
bought.
and all kinds of stuff that I just passed on because I was like, it's going to be there.
But now at this point, like I don't even want to spend money until I get the full story. Like, all right, I don't want to, spend $100 on games and like, oh yeah, by the way, your download list is going away at some point. I'm like, then that's I'd rather spend that money on a physical copy
And
or
are
something
these
like that
patches
now at
going
that
to
point.
come?
So
I have all those physical copies. What version of those am I going to be playing when I pop them in? Like, is my copy of Skyrim Legendary? Am I going to hope that it has the patches all the way up to that Legendary edition, and then it somewhat plays? But Skyrim's maybe a bad example because we've gotten like 18 versions since then that I can play. So
what I've learned is on the PS4 and the PS5, when they patch that game and when you have to download it, like even if you download it digitally, you don't have to go through those patches. So whatever's been patched digitally in that ISO or whatever's on that store, it's already the latest version. So you may pop in a disc version of 1.000 or whatever, but if you download the digital copy, you're getting 1.05.
When I pop in that PS3 game and I'm not hitting any server because there's no store, then what am I? That's what I'm saying.
So the PS3 is a bad example because the PS3, when I would download a digital copy and it's version 1.0, and then I have to go through and update the version 1.03. So it's like those were never built in the ISO when there was an update. They were left alone. So like even if you get a digital copy, there's some, unless you updated, there's some bad ones.
Some lemons.
So what would suck for us is that it would create a lot of work for us because we would have to like, okay, I have to download like the Simpsons Arcade. There's some games I have on there that you can't get anywhere. X-Men Arcade, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the remake from Ubisoft. There's some shit I can't get anywhere. So we would also have to do that, and then we would have to go upgrade our hard drives. We have to look at our PS3 collections and see which ones had crucial patches that we have to update, like unfucking playable. You know what I mean? There's like it was unplayable until this game was patched.
You know what else?
It received this patch.
You know what else we're up against that I just thought of? Remember, you used to have Wild West of PS3s you could license, and now you have 2 registered. I have no clue which. I think I know one of them. I have no clue where that second one is at. I've got like 6 or 7 PS3s. There's no telling. And you have to choose. But then it resets for 6 months.
Yeah, well, if you blow it out, you can't make any changes.
But you can add them.
You're going to have to remember after that.
I could do that because PS3 is the only things I'm fucking with.
You can only do the blowout once every 6 months. But you can add as many as you want. But once you got 2 on there, you can't sit there like, I don't remember which 2 is, or I sold the second one. It won't let you blow it out until 6 months.
But you can do it one time. You can nuke it one time and be good to go, and then just go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be that thing where we have to look at our collection and be like, all right, I got Ratchet and Clank into the Nexus.
I don't want to have this conversation. I don't want to have to do this bullshit.
All right, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're making this podcast longer than it needs to be because we don't know for sure what's going to happen. We just got to wait for the official story.
We're dreading worst case scenario.
We're like everybody else that was online. They went to like I can't. They clearly said in the rumors like they're closing down the stores. Nowhere in there they said like, well, because I would imagine they're gonna like you can't download your stuff anymore. That would be like, that would be in the article. I mean that's a huge deal. That would be in the article. So, but everybody's already going to worst case scenario. We're not going to know. I think they said then that rumor was that the official announcement's at the end of this month. So we got probably about a week. So it looks like they're the quarter starts April 1st. It's when they start the new year, fiscal year. Most companies. So I imagine they're going to spit this out March 31st. They'll just shit it out and be like, all right, get out with the bad, and then like April 1st, new
download
quarter,
your new PlayStation Plus games.
Yes. All we do is PS5 here. We're discontinuing the PS4.
Brand, is there any PS3 titles that are stand out that you'd be worried about not being able to play again if this doomsday scenario faces us down?
No, because I'm one of those people that if they truly screw you over, and I mean you can't go back and go through your downloads list.
It is what it is.
Then it is what it is, and there's definitely other avenues. There's jailbreaks for your PS3, your PSP, and your Vita.
There we go.
And
as we said, legal means.
All those beautiful games at your fingertips. If you choose to be on that sea of thieves.
Yeah.
Sail the high seas. I like it, Brant.
Yeah.
Hey,
sail the high seas.
Because to this day, if you run a custom firmware on the PS3, you can still get your PlayStation account blocked.
Wow.
Wow. If it touches the network, they have an automated program that it knows and it automatically blocks you, so all your purchases are gone.
Damn.
The Vita one is 50-50. Some people have been able to get away with the Vita with no issues, and then some people have gotten complete bans on their PlayStation accounts from custom firmware Vitas. So a lot of people are hoping if that all that stuff's going away, that they turn off those servers and they don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah. So that we'll see, unless they're really, really big douches and they're like, we're just gonna leave the servers on just to fuck people over.
The Watchdog, just the Watchdog server.
They could. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it'll be a bad deal. I mean, you have to have somebody will figure out a way to get all that stuff without how they ever connected online ever or sign in on PlayStation Network or somehow get around the PlayStation Network sign in to get past what you need to get. So
maybe there's a repository we can ping from somewhere. We whined and cried about Warhawk going down, and then I've played online Warhawk since then. And then like X-Link Kai for PS2 and Xbox and stuff like that. People are still playing those games online, sim and LAN connections. So necessity is the mother of invention. So we'll see something out of the end of it.
To be honest with you guys, I'm not even that worried about it because at this point, there's more games coming out now that I want to play. So I never have felt the need to ever go back.
All right, Jim Ryan.
I want to play Rock Revolution.
I want to play Gran Turismo 7. Why would somebody go back to Gran Turismo 1, 2, or 3? Those games look like garbage.
No, I'm not saying the games look bad. It's just I'm always playing forward. So I mean, if I didn't have anything to play now, like there were games coming out for PS5 or Xbox Series X or Nintendo Switch that I don't care about, I'm like, okay, yeah, and then I'll go in the back catalog. I got plenty of time to play these other games because it's stuff I want to play. But there's always something I want to play. It's not about whether a game's good or bad. I mean, if you can play it, play it. Who gives a fuck? I got the Silent Hill experience on the fucking PSP. So
it's like the Metal Gear one.
Yeah, I got that one too. So
we'll see. Coming days will tell. Coming weeks will tell.
Yeah. I mean, we're all speculating. I would imagine that after this got out, Sony would have jumped ahead of it. It was going to be super huge, but I guess this is not. Secretly, I think it's just going to be like we're closing these stores. You can't buy new shit, but you can still download
backing away because it's super huge.
That or you can download your old. You can download your old stuff for now, and that could still go away in the future. You never know. At some point, they might do it in stages, and we just don't know the stages free. Yet. So
if you still have a Vita, PS3, or PSP, all licenses are free to download. That'd be awesome.
Have fun.
I still dream of a dedicated PS3, PS1 classic. It just has tons of PS1 games on it. Which, I mean, you could do with anything at this point. So, all right, y'all ready to move on to games played? Now that Sony...
Games played.
Or on our non-existent Polymega.
Oh, God, we had to work the fucking Polymega in there.
He had to throw it in there.
I want it in there every episode.
Vapor Mega.
I can get it, so... Did you see that? You saw the Nintendo Everything article? We're going to do a deep dive on this for a second, guys. I apologize. So you saw the Nintendo Everything article where they finally got some news about what's happening. So the chipsets are done. So apparently they actually got in touch with the company. The chipsets are done from China, and they ship them to don't quote me on this, but they ship it to another country for building the consoles. And I remember if it was Malaysia or somewhere like that, but they're actually having labor strikes in that country, and that's why they haven't been shipped yet.
That's a good reason, but it'd be nice.
So that's
to hear that, right?
Told. They had to get it from Nintendo Everything or something. They had to go ask them, and then because that company we spent all that money on, their business license got revoked in California. So, and they came back. It's like, well, the only reason why the only reason why they got revoked is apparently they pay all their taxes on the credit card, and the credit card they paid it on this year was expired, and that's why it got revoked. So they have to. It's like, so they're like, we're gonna pay it, but we
gave these people our name.
It's like we're getting our tax attorney to do it on a new credit card. I was like, none of this is on their Twitter handle. None of this is on their forums. It's like somebody from another gaming company had to go ask them all right, you're supposed to get this in the end of February. What's happening? So, and this, at this point, I don't even think we're gonna get our money back because every time I go on Twitter, it's like they're not. They always go yep, just contact here for a refund. I have not met somebody who's gotten a refund yet.
Great.
So.
Let's gonna move on to games played. Get away from doom and gloom on Sony and Polymega platforms. We can't even get our physical. I'm moving on. Halo update. Let's go. Cesar, you spoke on Halo last week. We've gotten some more lunch kits in. We always have a good time with that. The set list that swapped in this week. Dale and I actually won one of the rounds. No, it was this evening. We actually did it this evening. But it's the rocket race that we've talked about. It's 2v2v2v2 on Halo 3. and you have a VIP that has to get into the ring, and then you have the person with rockets on the back, and you're trying to race. The ring is rotating around a certain map, and you try to get into it, and it's the first to 10. And we just like we had so many close calls. Like you'll get on a good run where you think you're knocking out a bunch, and then somebody will hit you with rockets, and you'll be rolling, and you'll drop back. And we had a couple rounds where we got like 6 or 7 points. One we got 8, and then the last one we did, I was like, we're going out on this. We won it, and we were down by 2, I think, and just went on a run. And somehow the ring was in front of us, and we got 9, and then the 10th one was on a hill behind us. It was like, and I was the VIP. So it's Dale's driving, and I got the rockets. I'm like, go, Dale, go, go, go. And we went screaming up this hill and got in the last ring, and it was like, yes. And it's just so stupid. Like, it cracks me up all the time. Like, man, this game is so dumb. Like, all the crazy stuff we come up with the flamethrowers and shit. Like, this is such a stupid game. We have so much fun with it. Oh, the muskets are a good time. Fiesta with the rotating weapons. Cat Mario update. We are halfway through World 3, which I think is like a icy thing so far. We have dropped the misses that was playing with us, so now it's just me and the young ones, and we're.
Is it more feasible in this configuration? Just blink twice. You know,
it's only for our visual listeners. I mean, our audio listeners are out of the.
Audio listeners, he only blinked once, so he said it was
everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
It's still a good time. There was one level where I was like, listen, just get in the bubbles. Brant gave us the bubble tip with the controllers. Just get in the bubbles. I got to run past this. There's no way all 3 of us are making it. We're just going to get another game over. You're going to get the 5 lives and 5 lives, and we're going to keep going. So strap in, let Dad beat this one, and we'll pick up on the other side. And so we got through that. And this is the first time in the game we've encountered. So like the mini bosses and the bosses, you have to have a certain number of the 3 green stars that you get in each level. And this is the first time we've been like, well, I think we did it on when we first realized we couldn't go straight to the castle. But this is the first time we've been like, okay, we are ready to play the castle, and we are short 2 stars. So we need to go farm some from somewhere. So, it's been a matter of backtracking to, I remember where one was at. Let's go back to that level and pick it up real quick. They're also playing, for some reason the Xbox is still hooked up, the OG Xbox, and they wanted to play, they were playing Shrek 2. They played some more Shrek 2, but they got to a part I couldn't even figure out. There's a level, you're leading the 3 blind mice. It's almost like an escort level, right? Which is everyone's favorite part of gaming.
Oh, Lord.
And the mice are following these cheeses through a graveyard. And you get to a point very early in the level, and there's 2 graveyards, or there's 2 coffins that are up in the air, like the lids. And the mice eat the cheese up over the top of the coffins, and the coffins fall in. And if any of the mice die, it's a fail state, and you go right back to the beginning. And we saw this fail state like 50 times. One of those characters has to throw something, and I got it to trip once, but I couldn't do it consistently, and I was literally playing with them at this point. Dad, we can't beat this. You got to be Red Riding Hood. You got to throw the apples at the coffins so the mice can get across. And I couldn't do it. We couldn't beat this part. I could get one, but it's like it wouldn't Red Riding Hood wouldn't consistently hit the apples against the thing. And I kept looking for, like, am I running out of apples? Because sometimes she would just, like, whiff and not throw anything. And we just eventually stopped that. I was like, let's go back to something else. Let's play. They jumped back into the true Crash Bandicoot 4. Not the bastard one that Brant tried to tell us was Game of the Year last year. That's a deep callback to last year. They also wanted to try Shrek 1, and I did not know this game existed till like 6 months ago. I think Cesar was around for the Shrek lore around Thanksgiving when they.
This was the TDK one, right? TDK.
Okay, so this is the launch Xbox game, right? It looks incredible. As I was watching this, because so many Shrek 2 might be 30 frames per second, and now Shrek 1 and Crash 2 are Crash 4, the real Crash 4. They're 60 frames per second. They're beautiful looking games. They're 480i. It's a component CRT, but these are good looking games on that platform. I'm like, okay. But this TDK Shrek, he's always running. He's always like doing right off the rip as they're doing this. As they start the game, he just has this run, and then like there's a couple things they do to teach you the mechanics. Like you have to go down it. The mirror tells you to go to like the fire pit, and it tells you how to pick up enemies and throw them. And then there's one that I text Cesar, I said, because I was like, this game's garbage. And then later on I was like, game of the year. If you pick up onions, you can press the black button to fart, and if you pick up spicy peppers, you can press the white button to burp. And then the next thing they teach you is that if you fart and then turn around and burp, it'll light on fire. It'll light the whole cloud on fire. So that's like, that animation looks janky. It's not quite right. It looks like a later edition type thing. So we do those mechanic introductions, and then they're like, hold down the L trigger to sprint. I'm like, what the fuck has he been doing this whole other time? So like, look up videos. It is unnatural how fast this Shrek moves, and it's. Remember in the first Shrek when the dragon's chasing him and they're like wrapping the chain all through the castle, and there's all those clips of him carrying Fiona, and they're just running. He's got the knight's helmet on and the sword and all that kind of stuff. Dude, he never in any Shrek lore that I know of runs as fucking fast in the default mode without sprint as this TDK Shrek. My daughter, bless her, she has not been exposed to tons and tons and tons of games. She was like, Dad, this is not a good game. I was like, and the only other time they've done this, the first system they were really playing on outside of the NES was the 3DS. And I had a Bratz game I found it at Goodwill or something. I was like, let's just see. The licensed games, kids usually like these. It's all I had when I was a kid. Like I had to suffer through the Toy Stories and Lion Kings and stuff like that. And they did not get into that They gave that Bratz game about 5 minutes, and they were like, this is not a good video game. So I will say they have good taste so far. I'm putting good video game taste in them.
You'll confirm it once they play their first Dragon Quest.
What should be their first Dragon Quest? Chime in if you'd like to tell us what. There's a lot of reading in there, and I'm working with this is probably a good part of games. You know, we're trying to learn because they saved over their Crash Bandicoot. It's About Time, or not? It's About Time. Wrath of Cortex. I did the wrong Crash 4. They saved over their save because I was teaching them this is load save or load game, and this is save game, and you just saved instead of loading, and you are on a new file, so you just screwed up your game. So they've gone through some save game drama with that. I think that's it. I was trying to keep it brief. The Shrek stuff was the true standout. I downloaded something off Game Pass I wanted to look at, but I don't remember what it was. I might have mentioned that last week, too. Oh, I played a little bit of Super Nintendo Online. I played some Super Metroid, and then Cesar ended up texting me about a VTuber playing it the next day. I was like, holy shit, I was playing that last night. But I played like a couple rounds of F-Zero, as one does, until you start getting your ass handed to you, and you're like, oh, that's F-Zero, I'm done here. I played a little bit of Super Metroid, a little bit of Super Mario World. Cesar, I know we've talked in the past about the CRT filters not really being like quite right. I'm playing in the living room, and it's a 65-inch TV on the wall in the living room, and I'm far enough back to where I don't like the way the perfect pixels look. So when it is cut up with those scan lines, it looks natural to me. Like it looks more like I'm used to seeing. So I'm starting to come around on a little bit of the scan line filter stuff, especially for that type. Because if you have it looking, you know, they weren't intended to be pixel perfect like that. Those games weren't meant to look like that. They added depth and shading and all sorts of stuff with those scan lines. So,
I mean, there's a reason why they include that in.
There is.
Retro games still,
and
to
I'm
this
glad
day.
Nintendo. Now I'm glad Nintendo
I mean,
has done it with their NES and Super Nintendo emulators. But
because even the Sonic thing the Sega thing you're talking about has.
Oh, it does.
So.
That one has a bunch of filters to it, right? Can't you like put it on a curved tube and everything with that one?
Yeah.
And they added that VR mode in the PS4 one. Yep. That is it on my games played. Just a little bit of all kind of nonsense.
Yeah, mine's real easy. Mine's gonna be short this week. I've only played Persona 5. We've got maybe 20 hours into it now.
Or Strikers or
okay. Royal, yeah, still Royal. I'm not gonna go PS5 or whatever. These people want to anagram everything, so it's the same thing I've been playing last week. Royal Edition. Got past the first palace. I'm going into the second one. I do see some differences in the game where they have a new confidant, which is a counselor for the school. Basically, confidants in that game are abilities to you can build relationships with them that'll give you additional powers in there. Which like some of them might be like, oh, you can get a second chance to retry, taking over a persona you couldn't capture. Like they'll give you a second shot. It just all depends on that point. So it still uses that same system where your days are up to you. So how you spend them is spend them wisely. So there's certain attributes you'll get boosts on there, like knowledge and guts, depending on what you do. If it's like doing your part-time job or studying in the library or spending time with a confidant, will give you boosts on there. And so at that point, I think I've recognized that the counselor is a new one they added in there, and they've done a pretty good job. Like they sprinkle in this new stuff where nothing in the game so far is like, all right, this feels out of place and jarring. Since I played the original one, like I don't know why they did this, or I questioned it. So far, it's
this
been
is the
working.
one to play.
So like
right?
even the new
You'd
character.
stick with that too.
I don't know. This is the one that people say is not canon. I have to play the whole thing and find out what happens. So, because that girl, that additional character girl, is not in Scramble, and she doesn't really interact with the Phantom Thieves when you get halfway through the game. So I don't know. They don't even know she exists. So I really don't know. It's a mystery. I have to go through it and figure out what happens here. I can tell you by the time I get to the end of the game. But honestly, I don't think it's canon because there's no mention of that character in the Scramble.
The original is available on the PlayStation Plus PS5 thing, right?
Yeah, the collection. Yeah, I think that's the canon one. That whole if you want to get deep into the fucking Persona lore, it's a nightmare. So like if you pull up like Persona 4 and then it's like you gotta play 4 and you gotta play Gold and you gotta play the fighting games and you gotta play the dancing game and then it's like the 3DS one counts in part of 4 or something. I'm like, what? I don't know what's happening anymore.
Only if you play it in 2D.
Like, you thought Zelda was bad with the timeline. This thing's like, holy hell! There's only one timeline, but it's like so many different games at different consoles to get to this point to figure out what the hell's going on. I'm like, I don't know, man. I play them as single contained stories, and that's how I enjoy it. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, I'm on the second palace. I got 20 hours in this game. This game is, I forgot how good this game is, man. It pulled me in again. So I'm like, it's a little bumpy in the first couple of hours, and I felt it again when I played it this time. It's that whole learning curve thing, but once it gets in there and it clicks, it clicks.
I enjoyed my time with Golden. There's no style like a Persona game.
I mean, I remember going through the first dungeon. I think I was up to like 3 in the morning on Sunday. Like, let me finish this fucking route and get it secured. Even though I gotta like go to work in like 4 hours, but I was deep in there. I was like, let me get this secure route.
Oh, you meant for real? I thought you meant 3 o'clock Sunday on the game.
Nope. It was like legit. Like, let me just get this part done. And it's like, it works. Let's put it that way. Outside of that. It's just me, the misadventures of me as I try to figure out how the hell I'm gonna stream Banjo-Kazooie for us. As I fire Banjo-Kazooie and I'm like, I don't recognize any of this shit. I'm like running around and I'm like, how do I even get to the board game part? So. Oh, you're back.
Oh,
I was completely. I guess I froze. Maybe I wasn't one that froze because both those screens froze.
Yeah.
So
I saw you freeze when you said, I don't even know how to get back to the board game, and then like Richard stepped away for a second. Both times he stepped away. Like the podcast. It's fucked up. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah. I'll wait till he comes back. That way you can get the time about what we need to edit in here before I continue. All I remember is him getting up and then it just froze on his crotch and I'm like, I just got frozen crotch and then just you looking at me and I'm like, is this me going normal? I was like, I guess I'm the only I must be the one that froze because everybody else is just frozen.
Yeah.
So it's not like he was gone and it was frozen on his frozen chair. So I'm like,
he literally, I watched him get up and like walk out and then all of a sudden you're talking and then you're just stuck and I'm like, oh hell.
Yeah, I was like, I had to go look at my I'm connected to the network. I have this YouTube video going on right now. The YouTube video is still playing, so something else must be happening. Something else must have happened. So I'm like, ah. So I was like, whatever. Hopefully he'll be back soon. We just need to recall the time here so he's gonna be busy this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There he comes. Both times you have stepped away,
How?
it has frozen.
How does it know?
I got a picture of your crotch, and it was there for
Me?
like at least good 30 seconds. So you're gonna,
Great.
yeah. So you're gonna have to look back the last, I think, 2 minutes. Sounds right, Brant? Because we didn't talk about anything for 2 minutes.
I'll sniff it
Yeah,
out.
probably.
I'll sniff
Probably
it out.
almost 2 minutes.
How does this
Yeah.
happen?
Oh.
So yeah, as soon as you got up, it froze. As soon as you got up,
Classic.
it froze. So yeah. So I'm at the point where I fired up the game, and I don't even know where the fucking board game is. So I'm running around, and I'm like, I don't remember any of this shit. And I'm like, I see the cauldrons, and I jump in the cauldrons, and they're moving me around the levels, and they're not moving me where I need to go. And after about 15 minutes of anger, I just turn off the game because I'm like, I just want to beat this thing, and I'm like, or I can at least stream it and know what I'm doing. I haven't pulled out the guide yet. I'm gonna have to pull out the guide.
I have the guide. I have
literally
the strategy guide for Banjo. So if you want to do that side by side, I'm down.
No. There's a website. It's called Game FAQs. You ever heard of it?
If you do that,
So all you gotta do is just
I have to
type in the name
validate
of the web
my
browser.
strategy guide collection, and I'm doing so by offering that out there.
Oh, let me make sure. They may not have that one. Hold on.
I'll get up again and go get my guide and freeze this fucking podcast.
Banjo Kazooie. Yep. All right, we're good. I'm a lazy bastard, man. I know we could do it the right way. I'm just gonna do it the lazy way. I admit your way's better. I'm gonna have to. I have to figure out how to get to the board game. So I have not gotten far in that game. Both times I fired it up, if both times of me in like 15 minutes of just like fuck this, and then walking away from it. Then I was like, oh, let me just do Battletoads, and it was like after 2 minutes of Battletoads, I was like, F this, because I couldn't even get to the second level before I was getting beat down. I was like, I don't know if this is a one-player game. So
It's not a 2-player game. Like Double Dragon.
Ugh.
it's not. I'm waiting for you to say it's not a game. You can't. Nobody can get past the cart level unless you use the level skip, which I never even can find. So I'm like, I've never heard of the fated level skip, but whatever. But yeah, that's it for me. Taking out home, Brant.
8 minutes to hit
okay.
our hour 48.
So
Oh,
I can do this.
Yeah, we'll get.
So I finished playing Not a Hero DLC for Resident Evil 7.
Well done.
Pretty good. Rounds out the story. There's like special bullets and stuff you have to get to help you fight these newer mold enemies that are in there. But there's a couple really good fights in there, bosses. And it's short but sweet. And I definitely recommend, especially with that free price tag on it. It's a must, especially if you've already gone through the initial story. And then other than that, just going through Uncharted 2.
All those clips you put up are awesome.
Among Thieves still. So my son, there's still, I think it's just the way Nathan controls sometimes, because there's still times that like you're jumping across something, and rather than go forward, he just decides that he wants to go vertical, and you wind up jumping to your death or something. But I'm having to like guide my son a few ways as he goes, and so the last time we had run into Chloe and Jeff, so now we're running through the city with them. We get to the big temple that we were trying to get to. Of course, there's a bunch of puzzles and stuff you have to do, and you find out where the entrance.
You're still playing 2?
To yes, the entrance to Shambhala is, and then are promptly attacked again by Lazarevich's
goons
army. Yeah, and there's running away from them. The cameraman Jeff got shot. Your There's that kind of escorty type of thing where you're running through the city, you're trying to run away from the uh, army of guys with guns, and he's wounded, and you've got him up on your shoulder, and you're like slowly going through and trying to get around while they're pulling up into alleys with trucks with big mounted guns on them, and so it becomes very crazy. And it finally gets to the point where you guys get cornered, and Chloe is like, we've got to leave him, or we're gonna get caught. And eventually to where Chloe kind of turns on you, and Lazarevich and the rest of the guys come in. He shoots Jeff. Takes the map that you had marked with the entrance, and then they're supposed to. He leaves, and the goons are supposed to finish you and Chloe, or not Chloe, but Elena off, and you guys get the upper hand, get away, and make a mad dash for it. And even after that, Nate's like, well, Chloe didn't really have a choice. She was just trying to save herself, so I want to go back and save her. And that's when you go to the train yard and then get on the train. And the train is such a big part of this game.
So defining.
That was like the tech. I mean, it was a technical feat. It was a great part of the game. My son had problems on certain parts of the train watching out for those the signals that would either be atop or on the side of the train as you're going down the track. So there was definitely times he's trying to move, or he's like fighting and shooting some guys, and all of a sudden everybody gets swept off the top. So, but he eventually got to the point where you have the helicopter that comes while you're on the train. So, and then of course it gets you back to that scene back in the
after the
beginning of the game, to where the train has crashed, and it's nothing but wreckage, and you're crawling through, and train cars are exploding and shifting and all that. So you eventually find yourself in after you collapse in the snow. You find yourself in this small village, greeted by a man that doesn't speak English, who you find out his name is Tenzin.
That was a good bit, that pacing of the story, right after you just have that crazy adrenaline rush. It's so perfectly orchestrated.
And he takes you to a gentleman that's in this little Tibetan village, that I want to say he was German or something, and he was once commissioned to find and have this expedition to try and find Shambhala, and he got pretty far, and he tells you, the Chintamani stone that Lazarevich is after, it's not just a raw sapphire. He's like, Genghis Khan and all these other people, they had a small fragment. You don't understand what would happen if somebody got the whole thing. He goes, and I think to better understand, you need to go see what happened. And so Tenzin takes you on this small expedition to go through these caves and things, and explore these old ruins of this, I don't know, it's like a old underground ruins. So you go through that.
I forgot about this part. I remember the village, but I forgot about that bit.
So you and Tenzin are doing this crazy stuff where he's like throwing ropes and you're swinging across these gaps and stuff, and then eventually Tenzin gets attacked by this weird looking creature, just giant dark furry thing, and then it's got like this crazy looking head with horns.
Don't you see him like pass in front of the camera at some point right before you? Yeah, this foreboding. Hell yeah, that was a
Yeah.
good bit.
And so they give you a gun, and you wind up shooting it. And then it tackles you, and then Tenzin winds up getting back up and stabbing it, and it runs off. And you continue, and you find what else but a group of dead Nazis, and they were the ones that had hired Schaefer to go through this expedition. And they have this old book that had like all these different pictures and stuff depicting the Chintamani stone, and it looked like it was written in like old Greek, or so it was old mythological stuff, and it depicts like these monsters. It shows the stone, and then it has these crazy looking monsters. And he realizes that Schaefer, seeing what could happen, killed all all the all the people that had hired him to go on this expedition, because he knew
Right.
it was no good. Nothing good was going to come of this.
It was based off the gun that was using the bullets. And that's how
So
they figured it out.
yeah. So now you're going to leave these ruins, and of course that's when you get swarmed by a bunch of those same like weird creatures from before. But you wind up escaping, and then you see the village that Tenzin lives in is now on fire, and Lazarevich's people have come. You go down, you fight. There's tanks, people with RPGs and grenade launchers everywhere, and so you're fighting, and Tenzin's looking for his family, which his daughter's safe, but you find that they've taken Schaefer, and because he had the thing you see all throughout this game, which is the
dagger thing,
Parva
yeah.
dagger, which winds up being the key to everything throughout this whole game. And so they take him and the dagger, and so now you're trying to go chase after them. And I posted a couple videos to the Instagram. There was actually a couple more. These were a couple
God, shit was
glitches that we
funny.
experienced. There was more. The first one we experienced was he was in a shootout back in the city, and he killed a bunch of guys, and as he's like killing, he shot a couple. He turned back, and one of the guys that was in like this flatbed of a truck has like clipped through the truck, so his torso is in the flatbed and his feet are just dangling under the truck.
Break the game.
And then the other one was when you're in Tenzin's village, fighting off all these guys and trying to go to the tank. There was one part where he's going, and I just keep going, follow Tenzin, you just keep going. And he went up to this one corner, and then all of a sudden he stopped, and he was crouched, and he just started like moonwalking backwards. And I didn't capture those, and I didn't want to go all the way back through and like find those specific things and clip them out. But the clips I did have were after they catch Schaefer, you and Elena get one of these trucks, and you go you chase after the guys, and they're in a convoy, and you wind up jumping from truck to truck and killing guys, and you wind up getting to a truck that's got like a grenade, a mounted grenade launcher on it. So I'm going through and I'm shooting, and he's destroying trucks left and right, and then all of a sudden we just see these two trucks that we destroyed, and they just go whoop, like straight up, and they got raptured out
Fulton. They got Fulton
from
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Like they were there, and then all of a sudden you just see like their tires were left over, and they just went straight up and gone. and then the next part you get to is like a rundown monastery is where their Lazarevich has taken and Schaefer, and so you're trying to sneakily go through this monastery, and then of course that doesn't happen. You wind up getting wave after wave of guys come in after you, and you've got to kill them. And then there's a part where you have to there's a long bridge, and it's covered by like 4 snipers. So you have to get up on top of this one tower, and you have to snipe. And then there's people that are coming across the bridge, and you've got to snipe those.
Snipers in Uncharted can be brutal.
And this is yeah. So, and this is we got to this part, and then we stopped our gameplay.
Is he still digging it? Does he like it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's loving it. And so the second clip that I'd posted to our Instagram is he had killed a bunch of the people like right there at the start of the bridge. And so to get to the bridge, you just walk across this little beam, and as soon as you get across, a cutscene starts. So the thing was, as soon as the cutscene starts, Nate walks over like two of the dead bodies, 2 of the dead soldiers, and they just they like ragdoll and fly and spin off of the bridge.
Check it out on Instagram. This shit's funny.
And it's just, yeah, and definitely if any more happen, I'm gonna try to stay on top of it and save.
That's part of games. That literally makes people angry when stuff like that happens. I laugh my ass off. Please let it break like this.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't ask you anything.
Oh. I've never I don't think I've played Uncharted 2 several times. I don't think I've ever had anything like that happen. But I don't know if it's something about these remakes, the way they've been done, or not remakes, but remastered or something. The collection,
maybe, or something.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the Uncharted collection.
I need to ask Russell if he remembers encountering anything, because remember, this game he played straight through. He never put it down. Yeah, he played all the way through Uncharted 2 in one sitting.
So, but having having those little glitches, it's fun, it's hilarious, and we were cutting up and laughing.
They always add to the game.
So, but yeah, that's it so far. That's all I got to play, because I've got some other stuff on my plate. Just hadn't been able to play much.
Hour 54, we went over our limit, gentlemen. Well, I have to cut out those 3 or 4 minutes, so that should get us close.
Yeah, you get close.
We'll be there.
All right, we had 6 people with us throughout the whole rest of the night. Thank you, viewers. And don't be shy. Interact with us in the chat. All 3 of us are watching it, so if you ever want to ask anything or interject with something you've enjoyed with a game or one of the games we're talking about, let us know. We'll chime in. You guys got anything else you want to add? Let's get out of here. Thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See you.
Matane.